Hello faithful viewers, welcome back to another review. This time we're looking at the Transformers animated Voyager class Skywarp. So Skywarp here is a repaint of the Starscream mould. It came in various different colorizations across the entire toy line. The animated Starscream was kind of like a blue, like a light blue and red version of this. And then you got Skywarp here. Sunstorm got a release, you know, the yellow and orange redeco. Thundercracker got a tiny activators iteration, as did Dirge. I don't think Ramjet ever got a release, even though he was in the show. And I don't believe Slipstream did either. But, you know, we've got Skywarp here, and Skywarp always has the best secret colours. He is this beautiful combination of black, nice royal purple, and then you've got this silver kind of purple blend going on here. Hopefully you're getting that in the camera there with the light. You can see this kind of purple wash going over there. That's really, really nice. You've got a translucent orange cockpit, and there is seating moulded inside. And then flipping him over to the underside, you can see he's got null rays sitting underneath here with orange shootable missiles. He has landing gear, as you can see right there, with rolling wheels, 2 bits in the legs, and you've got this third tyre at the front. In terms of what becomes what, legs, arms, head is hidden really well, that's good. And then it's an odd style jet where you've got this reverse wing aesthetic going on here. Traditionally wings are flipped the other way. I don't know particularly what the impetus behind this was for animated, but you know, it's a unique design and he stands out in the pantheon of Starscreams and Seekers. Okay, so to transform Skywarp into robot mode, it's very simple. It has automorph, which I suppose is a holdover from the 2007 movie range, but it is a little bit infuriating. It's more so infuriating turning into jet mode, as you'll see later. But there are parts about this figure which just like to pop off all the time, especially these little panels here. Undoubtedly will show that off because it's going to happen. So what we're going to do for a start is flip him under. We're going to tidy away all of the landing gear, just flipping all of that in, and then we're going to take the null rays and flip them back so that they are now facing the rear of the jet. Then we're going to disconnect the rear thrusters, which will of course be the legs, and as we do so, that will basically almost auto-transform the entire figure. I'm not even joking. So let's unclip that. And as we bring the lower torso down, the automorph will shrink the nose cone away and it will bring the arms forward, and it might even flip all of this backpack back and around. So let's see. As we go, we're going to bring it forward. The nose cone is shrinking. Yep, it's going to do it all. There you go, you see? So snap the waist into place like that. Let's rotate the arms accordingly. And then this backpack. So there's a hook right there, and there is a tab on the landing gear. If you just want to hook that over and into place, it's not a very stable hold, but it does the job decently enough. We'll do that a little bit last because that's going to be the most annoying part. And then with the legs, we're going to just straighten them. 2 clicks in, straighten, 2 clicks in. Then we're going to come to the little thrusters, open them up, they're going to be the feet. I can tell that I've just fired a missile, it's coming loose in my hand. Okay, and then finally with this, what you're meant to do is split the tabs. As you can see, it's already popped itself off. That is very annoying, and it always happens. So split it, and then rotate these back until they tab into place, just like that, and then hook this bit back over, because undoubtedly it came off. And there you go, that is Skywarp just about transformed. You might just want to get the legs however you see fit, just to get him standing somewhat straight. And that's more or less it. Okay, so that's Skywarp in robot mode. It's a very unique design, of course. Love the colours, they haven't changed much, but you've got now this brighter purple revealed with the arms now exposed. Let's zoom in on that noggin, and it is a very accurate head sculpt to how he looks in the cartoon. One thing to note, he can't look straight for some reason. No matter how hard I try to get him looking straight, he's always looking at an angle. And that's just one of various little pet peeves I've got with this figure. It's far from perfect, and I would like to see a legacy update of this actually. But I mean, as you can see, I mean, yeah, okay, maybe I retract what I said there, because he is actually looking straight, but the head wants to naturally go at that angle. Now, he does have light piping, so isn't that wonderful? Look how ghoulish that is. The eyes light up beautifully, the mouth lights up beautifully. If you angle it, you could possibly get a little bit of the cockpit lighting up as well, but that is sublime light piping. And then panning across the rest of the figure, you can see on his wings there are the Decepticon logos in nice gold, which were there in jet mode. And then nothing else has changed. You've got the purple wash on the silver on the chest. And then you've still got these little wonky legs going on here, with very strange kind of gorilla arms going on as well. So not a lot has changed in terms of detail. In terms of kibble, oh, one thing I did forget for transformation, pardon me, is to flip these in like that. Okay, so in terms of kibble, he doesn't have a lot, but he does have these things, and these are the bane of my existence when it comes to this figure. They pop off so easily, as you saw during transformation, but look, so easy, minimal effort. I imagine there's a lot of versions of this mold on the secondhand market that are missing these because they've just flown off into God knows where. Easy enough to put back on, but they don't hold. And that's just one of several pet peeves. So let's talk about the other pet peeves. His hands, same issue. Fingers fall off, minimal effort. They are held in there really, really loosely. And therefore, I don't like to engage any of the articulation when it comes to that, because it's just, ugh. Legs, similar thing. Really bad mushroom pegs, and you can see there, I just pulled that one off with no effort whatsoever. Very, very poor design with some of the stuff going on here. What just fell off there? That's his missile, so that's another pet peeve. These are so trigger happy. It takes no effort to shoot them off either. Oh, it's a far from perfect figure, and it's a figure that I actually don't like to mess around with very well. Very much. He's lovely to look at, lovely colours, lovely aesthetic, very faithful to how he is in the cartoon, but in terms of playability, there's just so many things which just make him brittle and not fun to handle. In terms of gimmickry, we're having a look at the missiles, but before we fire them off, if we slide these forward, then we get these things pop out. I don't know what these are. It's just an extra little play feature, I suppose, but it's cool that you can do it. It's kind of pointless, but it's cool. And then in terms of these really trigger happy missiles, powerful spring, could easily get lost, but you know, it's cool. Okay then, articulation and posability. So the head is on a ball joint. He can look left that far, he can look right that far, he can look up only about that far. He can't really look down because of the shape of his massive chin. Animated. Now, in terms of shoulders, he can move them up that far, and his arms can only go back about that far because of his ring assembly. They can spread out only about that far, so that's kind of underwhelming. He has a 360 swivel at the elbow, and then in terms of a bend, he's got a 90-degree bend. And then, as I demonstrated earlier, the hands, individual thumb and his fingers can all move together, but really loose peg. They're bound to fall off. Don't do it, basically, is my message there. In terms of the waist, he doesn't have anything, and he doesn't have an ab crunch of any kind. In terms of the hips, he can forward kick on a ratchet about that far. He can bend his legs back about that far. And then in terms of a spread, I'm only going to do it on the one leg, but he has a beautiful spread. In terms of fire rotation, he does have some. Trying to get him in focus as I demonstrate. He has 360 degrees of fire swivel on a mushroom peg, but as we demonstrated, it again is very loose. And his leg falls off with minimal effort. He has a transform, as you just saw right there. I didn't intend to do that time. Earlier I did, but I didn't this time. Plug-in, okay. He's got a transformation hinge in the thigh as well, so he's got an odd inward bend, like so. In terms of the knee, it's on a ratchet joint and it can go over 90 degrees like that. And then in terms of ankles, for on a ball joint, so you've got a lot of rocker and tiltage and a lot of options going on there. Nicely, nicely. So overall, on paper, he's got, you know, quite a few options going on, but he does feel in hand very limited as to what you can do with him, mainly because of all of the things that just like to fall off him. But yeah, he's not really the most posable thing in the world, not really. You could experiment. I'm just kind of afraid to, because I'm going to lose something. Okay, you know what I said earlier about his head? Yeah, it's just looking over at an angle of its own accord. I don't retract my earlier statement, I reaffirm my earlier statement. Okay, in terms of comparisons, here is our Voyager animated Skywarp next to our Voyager Revenge of the Fallen Skywarp. Here is Voyager animated Skywarp next to Deluxe Cybertron Skywarp. And here is animated Skywarp with Far From Home Mysterio. Okay, so to transform Skywarp back into vehicle mode, we're going to start at the feet. We're just going to close these up, like so. And then we are going to take these fins here and pull them up like so. And then we're going to disconnect him at the waist and allow him to become all kinds of flippy floppy. We're going to take these and we're just going to hoist them over his head. And they will sort of tab into place like that, although it does have a habit of disconnecting itself all the time. We're going to rotate the lower torso back, and the automorph will allow the nose cone to extend appropriately. That didn't sound too good. As we do, we're just going to try and get the arms back as we go and make sure that the null rays are on the underside. So palm facing up, basically. And then it's going to be a bit of a mess. We're going to come to the hips and we are going to go 1 click, 2 clicks, out of each leg, 1 and 2, and then in the inner leg we're going to just bring it in at an angle, so you kind of got this thing going on. We're going to close these panels just to neaten everything up, and they of course have a habit of falling off all the damn time. That'll just help us focus on trying to tab this very, very messy figure into its final state of being. Once you get the legs in, then it all really neatens up, but until you do that, he's a pain. There we go, right, we've got 1 leg fixed in place, just like that. And now I've got the other leg fixed in place. As you can see, that is pinning everything else in nice and neatly into a little parcel. Let's just retrieve that final missile. Let's plug it back in and then bring these forward so that they are now facing to the front of the jet. And then we can get our nails into the appropriate grooves and pull out the landing gear like that. So you've got 1 tyre there and then the other. Very tight. There we go. Put that leg back into place, pull the wheel out up front, like so, and there you go. After a little bit of a faff, that is Skywarp transformed back into vehicle mode. Okay, so that's been our look at Transformers Animated Voyager class Skywarp and sort of a whole Starscream, Seeker, clone mold in general, because they're all the same thing. I mean, as you can see here, I've tried to pose him. I said a few minutes ago that you're kind of limited, and yeah, you can see how jank he really is. The gorilla arms don't help. He is very limited to what he can pull off there, and he can't really put his arms in a believable firing position unless you've got them straight, because he doesn't have a traditional bend per se. And then you can see his legs here at such a daft angle with all of them trying to get him dynamic. He doesn't dynamically pose, is what I'm trying to say. And I do not recommend this mold to you at all. If you are hell-bent on getting a version of Starscream from Animated, I would say get Skywarp, because he, once again, has the nicest colour palette of any of the Seekers. But if you want a figure that you're actually going to enjoy and that you don't actually regret holding and messing with because you know you're going to lose something, don't get him. I cannot wholeheartedly recommend this to you at all, just because he's kind of more trouble than he's worth. So Hasbro, Legacy, get on this, basically. Update him, because he needs it. He really needs it. Thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see y'all later.